Hello, Scrappy Peeps. Suzanna here today for a cherry on top for the January YouTube Hop. Happy New Year, by the way, where we are sharing things that inspire us to create. So that is the theme this month. So usually it is bright collections that spark my creativity. Other things that, so I looked up the definition of create motivation, or Googled it, and it's things that compel you to create, and really it's an internal feeling. So it's seeing something that then internally spurs you to create, and normally that would be bright colored collections, but I am done with Christmas. This is January. It's a fresh start, and while I still need to finish my December daily, I wanted to work on something not Christmas for this. So normally I would pull out like some simple stories with really bright colors, and I did pull out simple stories, but I also didn't pull out, I mean, this orange is bright, but it's not as bright as I would normally work with, and it's also got an ivory cardstock or background instead of the white that I would typically work with. But I was inspired by this collection, by the flowers. I only got, I think, 2 pieces of pattern paper. Die cuts always spur me on, so I have those, and then journaling spots because it has labels, and I am always inspired by labels. I always put labels, almost always, on most of my creations. So what I've done here is I've torn off the bottom piece for the footer, and I want to actually put my title into the piece of pattern paper. So instead of taking the actual letters, I'm using the negative to create the title for the bottom of my page here. So you have to be careful when you are sticking your letters down, and of course I have chosen 2 words that have multiple use of multiple letters, so that they are facing in the right direction, the correct direction, which is what I've done here, because then I want to back it so that I have a negative instead of the positive that is creating my title. And this is my way of getting a little bit more color into the page there. So I have 2 photos here of my cat, or one of the 2 cats, sitting in the sink, and in the window that this sink is at, there is a see-through birdhouse, bird feeder that has worms in it, and the bluebirds love to come to that window, and she loves to sit and watch the birds. It's like her Netflix. Kitty Netflix. I've done that layout as well, but this is the other place that she really likes to sit, and if she sits in the sink they cannot see her, so therefore the title Bird Blind. So there is some of this sort of, it's not olive, but forest green that is in the collection, but I need a little bit more of it in order to provide the contrast, that really strong contrast between the dark and the lights, because she is very dark and the granite of the sink, or surrounding the sink, is very dark as well. And so I wanted more of this forest green that is sprinkled throughout the layout to provide some balance to it. So I've used my scallop punch there to create a header, and you can see how that then provides a nice contrast to the photos, but it still needs more. So I am going to warn you ahead of time that there is a lot of Suzanna shuffling that's going to go on here. I think that I literally use every combination of these florals from this flower pack here on the page. I think I pull out just about every flower, and I am hell-bent on using that green, forest green label there. And funnily enough, I don't end up using it. And there are ways that I could have used it. As I edited the video, I was like, oh, that would have worked. But when you're standing over your layout creating, and when you look at it from a distance, there's 2 different perspectives, right? And so how you would see it completed is very different than how you see it as you're creating, kind of looking down on it as opposed to looking straight ahead at it. And so I could go back and change it, but I'm not going to, because I do like the way that it ended up, but there is a way that I could have gone in and used that label had I wanted to. Mind you, it would have been more of a decorative piece than an actual journaling piece, because I actually have a journaling piece that I am going to use and that I don't use for journaling, and that is something that I frequently do. So I have popped that up on foam. I have 3 sizes of foam. I have 1/2 inch, 3/8, and 1/4 inch. And so depending on what it is that I'm putting on, I can use all 3 if I want to, but I go through vast quantities of foam adhesive. I'm sure you're not surprised. So this is where we're going to continue with the shuffle. I've now pulled out ephemera pieces for journaling in addition to the florals. You saw that I saved some of the pattern paper with just the florals going all the way across, and I had thought maybe that I might fussy cut those out, those right there, for something slightly different, but I think they're actually going to be a really cool footer or a sidebar for a page there. So I really needed some orange up the top as well, as sort of a solid grounding. That 3rd stripe really makes a lot of difference up at the top there. And see, I'm telling you, that green label I am going to move and shuffle, and I'm really determined that it is going to work, but yeah, no. So all sorts of combinations of things available there. So this is our monthly YouTube hop. Every month for a cherry on top, we do a YouTube hop where you can win a $25 gift card to the store. Each comment that you leave on each of the videos counts as an entry. So be sure to leave a comment down below, and that right there is what probably would have worked had I decided to go with that, because then it creates a diagonal line across the page that works with the horizontals that I have already created. But no, as I was standing creating, it just didn't work for me at the time, and it felt very lopsided to the left if I didn't put something to the right, which I will actually off camera put something to the right, and as we get closer to the end I will explain what that is. So I am pretty much committed to those florals that are up the top above the photos. Right now the florals that are to the right of the photos are just sort of placeholders as I try and shuffle everything around. I'm telling you, I have literally pulled out every option to the left of Birdblind to try and see what I can do to get something in there, but ultimately that's what I started with, are the orange, the blue, and those red florals. And I like the way that even though there aren't any of those big sort of pinky chrysanthemums, salmony chrysanthemums like I have 2 of above the photo, I really felt that I needed 1 down below, but I like the red and that combination of colors all together down below. So I am going to be able to incorporate this date ephemera piece, and I'm just going to overlap it, and because the piece that's already down above the photo is on foam, I need to add a little bit more foam to date, otherwise it would tip downhill, and that is pretty much going to be the foundation of this layout. I'm going to go in, and like I said before, I really felt like I needed a little bit more of that forest green, so I'm going to go to my die cut machine and I'm going to cut my own foliage there to go with this. So I really didn't like the letters without the innards, so I am using the actual letter itself to put the placement of the innards of the letter. Now I've used a die from my stash. It is not available from a cherry on top, I apologize, and I am putting in that extra greenery, and you'll see how that just really pulls together and provides a nice balance of lights and darks. I am going to use another small strip of the green scallop down at the bottom on the right hand side, just for some unity and a little bit more weight to that there, and it provides balance to the stuff that is on the left hand side of the title. So don't forget to leave a comment to be eligible to win the gift card. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.